You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Text. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live Thursdays at 8 p.m. London time, and we will be streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can listen to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and others. And now, let's talk Tech Talk.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Tech for Tech Tech Talk. This is a live show where we help your IT business grow. So first of all, if you can let us know if you can hear us, obviously let us know where you're viewing from, the name of your company, and we'll give you a shout out whenever we can. So again, please, if you are watching, please comment, because obviously we always like to know if people can actually see us and we're not having any technical issues. Also, if your name comes up in chat for any reason as anything other than your name and it comes up as Facebook user or something like that, then let us know. Strange, chat's not coming in on the side of the screen here, so let me just turn it back on, see if it works. Okay, so again, guys, if you can comment again, because it doesn't seem to be displaying. Do you, Will and Ken, do you see the chat on the right-hand side on the main screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's not showing it on our screen. So, here we go. So, what was I saying about technical issues? Anyway, I can see the side chat anyway. So, we've got Dan saying, "Evening, guys, loud and clear." William saying, "Yes, we can hear you." William at Build IT. We've got Facebook user saying, "Hi." Facebook user, I've put a link in the chat. If you can click on that, it's chat.restream.io/FB. That will allow your name to be shown on the screen as long as everyone else can see it. And we've got another Facebook user giving us a smiley face and they can hear us. We've got Dan says chat is visible on the stream. Video cut out. One person said, hi from PC Partex Rotherham. Someone back again. So, and we've got Alison from Norfolk, which is EADR. So, hello, guys. So, looks like it's just us who can't see the chat on the main screen then. So, but, oh well, we'll deal with that. Right, okay, so I'm your host today. If you haven't figured that one out already, I'm Phil Griffiths, and this is
His boss. I'm Jenny.
Yeah, she is the boss. People always mistake that, but she is actually the boss. So, in life and work.
Yes, my dear.
Right, okay. So today's episode is The Price is Right. But before we get on to that, let's introduce you to our guests tonight. We've got two guests on. We'll take you to Ken first. Ken, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and if you've got a tip for us.
Ken from Canny Clever, based up in North Tyneside. There is a large black dog down here as well who is hounding us for chews. The tip from me would probably be, don't be frightened to give something away once in a while. Obviously make sure it doesn't cost you much. Free advice goes a long way and can bring people back. Might be just a case of spend a little, give some free stuff out once in a while, and it comes back in heaps.
Okay, that sounds pretty good, Ken. Can I have a GeForce 4090 graphics card, please?
It's limited to sweets. Sweets and advice.
There we go. So, yeah, that would be a nice gift, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll take Prince.
Yeah. No, well, I think Prince will probably have something to say about that, but there we go.
If you've got chews, he'll happily come along, because he's eaten me out of the house and home with chews today. I don't know why.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've also got Blue Bolt watching as well, saying hello as well. So again, guys, if you want to comment, again, click that link what I've already shared in chat. I'll put it on as well. Again, well, that chat.restream.io/FB. That will allow your name to be shown. Macaulay Stevenson saying, sorry, a bit late to the show. Evening all, hope you're well. I'm doing well. Thanks, Macaulay. Hope you're doing well as well. Let's go over to Will next. So, Will, introduce yourself. Let everyone know what you do and name your company and any tips or advice for us.
Hi, folks. My name's Will from Consumer Tech, based in Dunfermline, Fife, about 25 minutes away from Edinburgh. My tech tip tonight, it's quite a long one, so I apologise if I ramble on a bit here. It's about social tariffs, and because we're talking about The Price is Right tonight, I thought it it'd be good to mention that there is social tariffs out there for broadband and phone packages, which is available to people who unfortunately are on benefits or struggling financially. Most of the main companies, BT, Virgin, O2, EE, all them, they offer it, and it ranges from £13, £14 per month. And it's available to anyone on a variety of benefits, whether it's means tested or through the disability living allowance, etc. It can be cheaper than your regular packages by £10 or £20, and you don't get a lower service. It's still fast, unlimited broadband you would get. It doesn't cost anything to set up, and it doesn't cost anything to switch. So I thought it relevant to mention to people that are under unfortunate circumstances that there is social tariffs out there for people to get broadband so they can watch Tech for Techs.
Okay,
That is a good tip.
Definitely good tips there. So, yeah, definitely not heard that one before. So, yes.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. So that probably.
I don't think the big companies want to advertise it really for obvious reasons, but if you go into ofcom.com or .co.uk, sorry, it's available there. Information is available via Ofcom, and it's open to anyone who's struggling.
Right, absolutely
That's
brilliant.
very
Definitely
good
good advice. So that's definitely brilliant. Before we go on to Jen, we've got Poppy watching from Celtic Computers. I did it again. Celtic Computers. Big award winners they were a couple of months ago, weren't
Yes,
they?
they were.
So yeah, definitely there. So Poppy's watching, and I'm guessing Graham's probably trying out Norton at the moment still, if I'm right. So let us know how he's finding Norton, Poppy. Obviously, your point of view, your view's not mine. So if anyone from Norton's watching, don't have a go at me.
To sum it up, they're doing a test on your product and making little videos of it.
Yeah, if people are unaware, they've done I think, is it 3 videos, maybe 4 now?
I think he's completed it now. I think it's all complete. He's given his version of events, yeah.
Right, I'll
I'll
check up on that one.
Then.
I've missed that
interesting.
bit.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So definitely worth looking. His things is with stuff like that, it does change, and sometimes things have a bad reputation, and sometimes they have a bad reputation for a reason. So,
and then sometimes they have a bad reputation, and they kind of get forgiveness, as you might say. So we're always interested to see how it rolls.
I'm going to say we have to do it when we're reviewing stuff. There's sometimes brands what we haven't worked with for a while, and you think they're going to be not so good, and then they actually surprise you. You have to come with it with like a open mind sort of thing. But she says they're not going well, the experiments, by the looks of it, and one more video to come. So okay, I'll be definitely looking out for that one. Make sure you tag me in, because I'd like to see what's going on that one. Right, okay, let's go on to Jen next then. So Jen, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, and tell us.
I've already done that.
Well, tell us about.
All right, I will just tell you about my little tip of the day thingy. Mine is not a tip; it is an announcement. We're talking about TechMax. So if you didn't hear already, and you've been asleep under a rock, we're having TechMax again next year, and I'm beginning to see a pattern here. So I think it's safe to say that it's going to be an annual event at this point.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
no question about that.
I think that's safe to
something
to
globally
say.
changes, but yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to have it again at Magna. I am aware that we had a few little issues, that I might say, but we have been put the rest assured that they won't happen again. So I trust this stuff at Magna, and well, in all reality, it wasn't really too terrible.
We've basically put systems in place where it shouldn't happen again.
Yeah, so we've changed things. But if you were exhibiting, or you did go to Magna this past June, you would have seen the layout in the big hall and a big curtain cutting off the room. We're not going to do that this go. It's going to be one full room. You won't have that curtain. We're going to utilize the whole space. So if you were paying attention, you'll know how huge that can be, that divided up the talks area. We're going to put the talks in a different room, so they will be able to be heard instead of having the echo and everything from the vendors and distributors and the attendees. I think that was in my mind last year, but we, for some reason, didn't do it. And it's just going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I've had people signing up. I've got some sponsors on board. I'd like to announce that we got Araku in association with Case King
Yeah.
for another go. And I'm really pleased to have them on board. This is their third TechMax Aracools. The first year they did it with CMS, and last year they did it with Case King.
Yeah.
So they've been on board from the start, and I would like to really thank them for helping us out.
Case King are actually the main sponsor this year.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
in association with Aerocool,
Yeah.
Ducky, Streamplify, and Thunder X3. And Aerocool are paying for your lunch as well, which
Yeah.
includes teas and coffees throughout the day. So that should be good as well. So there are a lot more stuff to announce in coming
Yep.
days and weeks. Again, it's early days yet. Trying to get money off of these big distributors this early in the game can be a bit of a long-winded, if you know what I mean.
We
sometimes,
do have
but,
more sponsors on board. Unfortunately, I don't announce who they are until cleared funds for obvious reasons.
Yeah, cleared funds and contracts.
But yeah, we've got some really good people on board, and I'm just really thankful to them because they help pay the bill for you guys to be able to enjoy TechMax.
That's it.
So
we also have a couple of signed up for the exhibiting. We've got Tech Point Distribution. We've got EAD Arm. We're waiting for some artwork and some other stuff from others before we announce those on the website. But
shout out to Rick at Tech Point for contacting us and getting that underway, and Allison and Steve at EADR. And we've also got Replace Base.
Yeah, Replace Base. We're just waiting for artwork for them. But there will be a lot more than that, obviously. We've got a lot more room this year, and we've got names coming out which contacting us, which haven't exhibited before, which is nice as well.
And I've got some returning people that I just haven't gotten the artwork for, and memory fails me right off the bat. So
I think we've spoke to all or most of the main distributors, apart from one. I think one.
Yeah, we're still waiting on one.
Yeah,
no, we're waiting on one. We've got an appointment to talk to another.
Right. Okay. So most of those. So we're sorting a lot out. So anyway, let's get on with the show. First of all, if anyone is interested in getting tickets, you can. I'll put the finger in front of Wilmer's face at the moment. So Wilmer's now a QR code. So that's it.
That's it.
It's tftmax.com. Just to let you know, evening tickets, we have sold half of them already in in a week. So it was a week when we announced it, but we haven't really been actively publishing anything about it other than the initial announcement and the show, and half of those tickets have gone already. So
I've had people calling me on the telephone, how do I book tickets? And especially for the bigger crowds that want to come, and either give me a call or give me an email. It's info@techfortex.co.uk. Phil will put that up there for you. And that's how to reach us for anything TechMax related or Tech for Tech related for that matter.
That's it. So let me just put that on there. So it's not in front of Will. Right, let's get on with the rest of the show then. So tonight's show is The Price is Right. And no, it's not a game show. We had that a few weeks ago. So we're talking about pricing, basically how you price, how you charge, or if you want to mention how much you charge to compare to others. Well, it's not always accurate, that I must admit, because different locations and places, and some people have got stores, some work from home, and so forth. So pricing will be different. Obviously, some people are VAT registered, some aren't as well. So obviously, prices will differ. So there's no real right and wrongs, but about the only wrong is if you're really, really cheap. because you're selling yourself short, and in all honesty, the ones who are really, really cheap generally don't stay in business too long. Don't get me wrong, exceptions to every rule, but just look at Wilco's today. They've been charging next to nothing for stuff for years, and well, they've gone into administration, but I think that was more where they're placed than anything. So, but again, just because you're the cheapest doesn't mean that you'll stay afloat, because obviously you've got to work twice as hard as someone else who's charging a little bit more.
I would advise people not to use cheap in their advertising as well. I had a man come around to our shop that was with a distributor that helped independents, and I said, "Oh, how do you like my we're as cheap as chips, a play on words for Chips Computers?" He says, "I don't like it." He says, "You should never put cheap in your advertising. It makes people think cheap and nasty."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
So I thought about it and I said, right, I've got to get that off the advertising now.
Yeah,
Thank
value.
you. So sometimes it takes a second pair of eyes to look at it and point things like that out, but don't use that in your advertising.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just quickly go through the chat, and then we'll go to Ken and Will for their feedback. I do have a spreadsheet, and which I'll show in a minute, how I work out expenses and stuff, or a basic form of it, should I say, which I'll share if anyone wants it as well, but I'll put it on the screen in a few minutes. But let's just quickly go to chat. You've got William saying, "Oh dear, Pete's always open to feedback," and presume that's Pete from Norton is talking about. He says, "Can we move the Disty battle to the food area so we can hear everyone?" I think it's not that you want to hear everyone. You want to be eating while you're watching the show, aren't you, William? Is that what the actual thing is? But no. We have got the talks in a separate area completely. It's a separate room now. We've got a choice of one of two. We're in deliberation with which one we're going to use. We're waiting for feedback because they're in the process of upgrading them, but it will be in a separate room, which is sealed off to the other rooms, basically, with obviously a door which you can get in.
Yeah, so, the food area would be a little bit excessive in size to do it in. So.
There we go. William saying he's have to have another night out in Rotherham. Just booked tickets, Graham saying. So nice one, Graham. We'll see you again. Also, anyone who's wanting to take part in the awards, obviously the awards will be the event. It's slightly different than they were this year. It was a little rushed due to the issues with the food. So hopefully this year we'll be able to actually get the awards out and get proper pictures taken with the awards out and stuff. But anyway, moving on. William's talking and Graham's talking to each other, so I'll let them get on with that. So per charging 60 quid an hour, minimum 15 minutes any job, rounded to the nearest 15 miles per job. So that's William. William's definitely chatty tonight, that's for sure. So let's go over to someone not called William. Let's go to Ken. Ken, what's your advice regarding pricing? So how do you set your pricing?
Well, we mainly do everything in the shop. We don't do home visits as a general rule, unless they're elderly or incapacitated somehow. And the rest of our stuff is business to business. So it really depends which one I'm talking about. But if it was retail, fixed fee per job. If it takes an hour, if it takes 2 hours, same price. We basically tell our customers that's what it's going to cost, regardless. It gives them a fixed budget, especially at the minute when people are trying to budget for everything. We have started taking a diagnostic charge now. We were doing free diagnostics until about 6 months ago. So now we take a £20 diagnostic charge for retail jobs. Labour is generally £55 regardless. Laptop screen replacements, £60. And if it's a palm rest or something like that, it's £75. That's it, fixed. If it comes in and it only takes 2 minutes to fix something, it's a diagnostic charge. If it's fixed during that time, then fine. Businesses, we tend to charge a bit more, obviously. There's travel and time, there's expertise to pay for. Businesses, we tend to do most of it on a contract basis. So we site survey, work out how many PCs, peripherals, servers, network switches, Wi-Fi points. and then come up with a price per month. We offer that in two formats. One's a rolling monthly, and one is an annual. Obviously, the annual one, they get a better price. But that generally includes all the labour, and then they just pay for any additional parts, computers, that kind of thing. We're trying to keep it as simple as we can so that people can budget.
Okay, that's a good start. Nice one there, Ken. So gives everyone a rough idea what Ken sort of charges. Let's move over to Will. So Will, give us some advice about price and how do you price things? Do you have I know you were looking at getting a store or thinking about it. Did you actually go down that route or you're still thinking?
Still considering it. But my other option, I had two options. Do I go down a store route and have overheads where I'm working from home just now? I've got a customised garden office, so I don't have so much overheads. But really based on like what Ken was saying there, keep it as simple as I can. I think demographics plays a part in it as well. It does for me in my area where I am. People sometimes say, "Oh, you're too cheap compared to such and such," but I say I try and base it on people's circumstances, whether they need help, whether they want back online, if it's a 2-minute job, you know, different things like that. I think there's a lot of variables to it. I'm finding anyway. And sometimes I do find it a little bit challenging to get the right price, to get the right balance of it. But one thing I don't do is undercut myself, obviously, or undercut any shops because someone says to me that, you know, such and such are cheaper. Well, feel free to go there. I'll still give you the advice. If I think you're cheaper going there, you know, by all means go there. But I've learned over especially the last sort of year or so, to stick to my guns with pricing. If I give a price and it's not just a pluck out the air price, you know, I base it on purchasing the products, the parts, putting your percentage on top, and then having a fixed fee for my services and expertise, like Ken says. And I used to previously actually, I think it was through a confidence matter that I would not sell myself good in a way. You know, I'd think, oh, you know, I know such and such a lonely shop can do this way and they could do that way. And it was a confidence issue with myself. But I have learned through watching the shows, through speaking to people, and Computer Repairman, which I'm part of. There's a little chat group within there. We always talk about pricing going on. One of my colleagues, Jay, over in the Falkirk area, we chat often about pricing. He's slightly more than me because he's got better demographics than what I have in the area I am in. So it's getting a balance, and I think it's a difficult one to get a balance. And there's no harm in phoning your competitors to find out what they charge for a screen replacement. I've done that, you know, once or twice every few months or whatever, just to make sure that I'm on a par with my area, because I do have quite a lot of competition in my area for computer repairs and things. And yes, I've not got the overheads as a shop would have, but at the end of the day, I've got the experience. I've still got to gather that knowledge. I've still got to footer about and getting quotes in, and you know, a lot of time goes on quotes and things like that. So yeah, you've got to charge in like a diagnostic fee or a quote fee, and you get that fee back within the quotation and things like that. £15. That's all I charge for maybe getting a quotation for a larger company. You know, putting something together, the hour or 2 hours it spends to gather the information. So it's still your time. You know, if you charge per hour for doing a repair, why can you not charge per hour for doing the research? So yeah, I've come to grips with that and learnt a lot within the team and the group, and through speaking to people and based on reviews and things. And I'm pleased as punch to be on the night with Ken, because I think Ken's got a lot of experience in the industry, and we've chatted back and forward sometimes on Messenger. Now, don't do that, Ken. You have really good, and I like his business model and his social media models as well. So it's a learning curve for everybody, regardless of the experience you've got. I think it's a learning curve for everybody, and tonight's show, yeah, about pricing. So I'm learning from it as well, albeit I'm on the show. So yeah, it's there's a lot of variables, and you don't always get it right the first time, but learn from your mistakes when doing it. Yeah.
What I would say is, obviously, the prices I quoted do exclude parts, by the way, just in case.
Yeah.
But before we moved into the store that we're in now, we used to be in a shopping centre. I'll not name them because locally they are horrific. We had a really bad experience there. It wasn't busy. The lights were about footfall, but we had to come down as low as £30 to do a repair job to get people through the door. But when you're only working for £30 for a job which might take an hour and a half, it does put pressure on cash flow. So I mean, we suffered that for 2 years, and we tried creeping it up to £45, and the work dried up, so we had to move it back down. It's a balancing act. I don't think there's any unique formula that's going to work for everybody. When we moved over to our new store, where we are now, we hadn't even opened the door. We hadn't even fitted the shop. It was derelict. We were still putting it together. We actually had people knocking on the door saying, "Oh, can you fix this? How much is it?" And we say, "Oh, yeah, it's £35." You know, and they were gobsmacked. They said, "Well, what's wrong with your service? You're too cheap."
Yeah.
There must be something wrong. And I said, "Oh, well, I can charge you more." You know, we're still finding our feet at that point. So now, I mean, we last raised our prices last February. So, and we're actually considering rising them a little bit, probably £5 or £7 per job. But we're kind of taking a decision this week. We're going to hold any price increase until the end of this cost of living issue, because we don't want to scare people away. There's a lot of people in a far worse position than we are. So we do a bit of community work that keeps the work coming in. You know, if you work with the community, people coming by from you, they'll get things fixed by you. It just builds up reputation. So, you know, we'll put our price rises on hold for the time being. But we are aware of other local competitors who charge more than us and still do all right.
Sorry to come in there. I done some price models based on research, and they say there's like 4 major price strategies: value based, I think if I remember rightly, value based, competition based, cost plus, and another one about pricing. But it's all right, the professionals. I think it's all right, the professionals saying this, that, and the next thing, but it's all depends on your area and what people are willing to pay, and if you've got a lot of competition, and getting, like Ken was saying, getting that balance right. So it's taken me, it's taken me a good couple of years, especially due to lockdown, to just get my pricing structure right. And yeah, I've been there. I've undercut myself for a job to help an elderly person, or a silver surfer, as we call them, because they've been scammed, and you want to just get them back online. But then that's helped me in a way, because that's a long-term customer I've got now, where she trusts me, and she pays me a more reputable amount as well. So sometimes, you know, you've got to just take the rough with the smooth a little bit, and think about what you're doing. But yeah, it's a difficult balancing act, I think, just to get the right prices. And well, look at distributors just now. Is it cheaper buying online from bigger stores and Amazon and all that sort of stuff compared to distributors? It's difficult for distributors as well to get the pricing right. I know they buy in bulk, and I know they negotiate the prices and all that, but you know, other places are you know, you're saving on delivery fees and things like that. So yeah, we're in a market now where it's the price of everything's gone up, so we've got to think about our expertise and knowledge, and that's got to go up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably add on to what Will said. Like I said at the very beginning, don't be frightened to give something away. So I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not talking about product that, you know, that's going to cost, but advice. If somebody's being scammed, help them out. They become a long-term customer. You know, it's an investment in the long term.
definitely.
But as well as investing in the customer side, it is a case of investing in the distributors as well, because we have run-ins with Amazon every other day. If we were to buy on Amazon, I saw some chat in various places today. Argos had something on cheaper than most distributors, but you know, in all fairness, Argos, I don't know how they're getting this kit or the prices. I really don't know how they're doing it. I don't agree with them selling it, but is Argos going to give you the same level of technical support that the distributor will if something goes wrong or you need to exchange? You know, there's all these other factors, and that affects how much time you're going to have to spend dealing with an issue, which again affects prices, profits, and, you know, do you charge more or do you charge less? It's a case of, if you bought something cheap on Amazon, do you charge the customer less, or do you make the extra bit of money? You might have the headache if you have to send it back. It's not as straightforward. You've got to remember which part you've bought from which shop. Whereas if you're just dealing with distributors, you can ring them up and say, if I bought this from you, exchange it. You don't have
more streamlined. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that a lot of techs, they undercharge their services, especially diagnostics, with their knowledge. They think that because they know it, they don't need to charge. A sort of hiccup goes on. Oh, I already know this. I didn't have to run a test, so therefore I can be. No, charge for your knowledge. You're a one up on most people. Charge
I
for
know
your
originally
knowledge. It didn't take you didn't just walk in somewhere and know all this. This is years of experience and stuff. Charge for your experience. Know your worth.
well, up until about
Right.
6 months ago, we didn't charge diagnostics at all.
Mm.
But it was getting to the point where we were getting lots of people coming in. We were doing all the work diagnosing, and we were so used to people just going ahead that that wasn't a problem.
They will take advantage.
Well, then we started getting a lot of people who came in, got the free diagnostics. We told them what was wrong, and then they went back to the shop who sent them. We had a local competitor using us as the diagnosis service, so we introduced the charge at that point, and that dried up overnight. We didn't get that problem from a local competitor who couldn't be bothered, who just sent them to us for the diagnostics.
When
And
we first opened the store,
Okay.
we did free diagnostics, and we had every Tom, Dick, and Harry come through the door with like 10-year-old machines, and some of them looked really questionable, the machines and the people. But anyway, and you would diagnose it, and then you'd call them, and they wouldn't come back for like 9 months, even though it was free. And you've spent all your time diagnosing this machine. You tell them what's wrong with it, how much it's going to be to repair it, and they just leave it there, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. We actually had issues where I don't know if it's a sign that we had good service or what, but we actually had local repair companies, as in people who would work from home. They would actually either come in themselves, bring something in for us to diagnose, do the work
Yeah.
for them, and then take it back home and then get the replacement part or whatever it was and fix the issue. Or they'd send the customer in, their customer, and say, "Oh, just take it into here and get them to tell you what it is, what's wrong, and quote you and tell me, and I'll do it cheaper." So it was like, right, we're sticking a £10 diagnostic.
Yeah.
Was it 25? We went up to when we.
We ended up at 25.
Yeah, we ended up at 25 before we obviously closed the store to concentrate on tech for tech side of things. But yeah, that was definitely something. One of the things which I've not seen chat or anyone mention is about your costs. Does everyone in chat know how much it costs to keep your business open every single day? It'll take them half a minute for them to reply. But do you know, Ken, how much it costs you a day?
I know how much it costs me to keep my shop open by the hour.
Right, even better. Right, it's pretty much the same as day divided by 24. But yeah,
it's a big place, 3 floors. We've got a team of about 12 and a dog to maintain. Rent, rates, electric. Customers forget about all of this, so I tend to give them a lecture when they whinge about the prices. Rent, rate, electric. We don't have gas. The water board turned up today to read the thing. Internet connections, phone lines, VAT, pay as you earn, national insurance. There will be others that I haven't mentioned. Card processing fees, card terminal rentals, till rentals, equipment rentals, car leases, car fuel. The list just
Council tax.
exactly.
it just goes on and on and on. And somehow we have to make money, and it is getting harder. We are getting squeezed at both ends at the minute. Fortunately, there's still a bit of wiggle room. Not a lot, but there's enough to keep it going. So we're kind of changing tack a little. We're kind of becoming more business focused than retail. We're still maintaining the retail store, but we are taking on a lot more business customers. I mean, we've took on a lot this last month to the point where I'm now recruiting more staff if I can get them to apply. That's another issue in itself. We could do a whole show about that, I suppose.
Yeah, that's definitely something to talk about in the future. So definitely with our conversations before the show.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Will? Do you know how much it costs you per day, or are you like most people where you know per month?
Yeah, I'm per month. Because I work from a garden office,
Yeah.
electricity alone, it's just, I mean, I'm about £600 per year just for electricity. In fact, it's probably gone up slightly since I last checked.
Can I swap?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know places, especially any kind of shop you're in, the energy prices is just astronomical.
Yeah.
One of the premises I looked at, he said it's for electricity and water alone was something like £102 per month, and that was just for a small premises, just for your electricity and water. And I thought, I didn't even think about the water charges for businesses because I'm working from home, so I've not got additional water charges and things. But yeah, it's if I was to break it down per hour, like what Ken said he can do, I don't want to. I think my head's in the sand a little bit if I was to do that because it's going to give me a bit of a fright. But obviously, you've got to do that in a way to work out your hourly rate to get your feet back.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see if there was an average, if you've got any statistics, Phil or Jen, to see if there was an average what it costs for a premises to run, because I think I'd be quite shocked.
It varies for every business because there's
Yeah.
lots of businesses have loans and stuff. Some have got a fleet of vehicles, one vehicle, no vehicles. It can be very, very different. But the way I'm going to share the screen in a minute, and the reason I work it out per day is I can work it out per job, and then I know how many jobs I can do a day and how much of that it's going to cost me. And bear in mind, this form isn't my actual costs or anything like that. This is just one I've just made up for the shows. Obviously, you can change the numbers to your effect, but let me just stick it on the screen. Here we go. Let's put it on full screen. So, and let me get the chat off for a second. So this is basically on here. It's basic form. It shows you the rent, how much your lease mortgage is. Let's just say it's £1,000. Your phone's 100, mobile phone 75, and you go down. You add all your numbers in. It'll tell you the total here. So every month, so this is monthly, by the way, it's going to cost £2,847 for your business. That's costs before any taxes, VATs, anything like that. So bear in mind. So that's just the basic numbers. Work out how many days you work a month. I'm going to say 20. Okay. Obviously, you can change that. If you're someone who works 7 days a week, you can
We do
change that to
20 in a
31.
day.
31. So then that basically tells you. So you divide that number by the top number. So that obviously equals per day, which says it's £142.35 it costs to stay open per day. And that's just to stay open. And again, this is not to do with your personal stuff. This is just your business. Okay. So obviously, you can always add in personal stuff in there if you're a sole trader. If you're working from home, you can put your home rent or mortgage or whatever it is in, and so forth instead. Then put down how many jobs you do average a day. So let's just say 3 jobs, which basically means you need to make a profit. Not a profit. You need to make a profit on what these jobs of £47.45. That's not. You've got to make that much money. That's how much profit you've got to make on each job just to pay those bills. And then obviously you've got tax, VAT, depending on your earnings and everything on top of that as well. So you could add another, say, 20 quid on top of that. So you could say, obviously for this person here, we'll just call it his name's Bob. It costs Bob's Computers £47.45 for every job they do, basically, before they make any profit. So obviously, if he was doing more jobs a day, let's just change it from 3 to 5, automatically calculates that. It says, oh, you only need to make £28 a day now. If your rent's not £1,000, it's 500. There you go. It knocks you down to £23.
And
So
like
it
we
tells
said,
you.
this is not your personal stuff where Bob has a girlfriend that he
Mm.
take out a couple of times a week and
Mhm.
buy flowers and perfumes
Yeah.
and things like that.
But this form also is handy because let's just say you've got a vehicle at the moment and you've already paid for the vehicle and you've got no extra expenses other than the general insurance and general maintenance, but your standard monthly fee is basically zero for it. And you're thinking, oh, do I get a new van? Well, without the van, it cost me £17.95. If I get a new van, let's say a lease for a van, I'm guessing £400. Is that about right?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
About £400. That means then you've suddenly got to pay 21, nearly £22 a month. Sorry, you've got to make £22 on a job. So it gives you a rough idea. So that means you're basically losing out on an extra £5 from every job you do. So that means you've got to put your prices up by a fiver just to cover the costs.
Did you factor in how many, like the gas to get to the job?
Yeah, fuel. Yeah.
Obviously, that you'd have to add on the chart. Depends on how far you do. It depends on if you've got a store and so forth. My calculations were mainly if you've got a store
Right.
and you may use the car van just to get to and from. But again, you can add up however you want. If anyone does want this sheet, just let me know. Either send me an email to info@techfortext.co.uk or a message on Facebook or LinkedIn, and I'll
Looks like
send it
Poppy
over.
wants
But
one.
Yeah.
it's pretty basic form. It literally took me 5 minutes to make it. It's just basically you add up all the columns, equals there. You tell it how many days. It divides those days by the actual total for the month, which equals how much is a day. Then how many jobs you do. Obviously, is 5 we've put down there, so it divides that number by 5, and it equals the job per day. So it doesn't take long to make, but I know it's one of those things. Not everyone's skilled at Excel, and I must admit I'm not that skilled at Excel, but I know how to do
I love
the
Excel.
dividing and auto summing and stuff like
It's
that.
a good little tool. Even if you could pop it in the OneDrive for Tech for
Yeah,
Text ones.
the OneDrive or
Everything that I do, just about it's in Excel. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, it's a good tool, definitely. Yeah.
you
In
get
fact,
screen
if if you know how to work Excel really well, there's jobs in that alone out there. You know,
Yeah,
Excel
yeah.
gurus. Geez, they could earn a lot of money doing Excel.
That's it. So let's quickly go through chat. Let's have a look. Scroll back up. We've got PC guys saying evening, guys. We've got Raheem. So hi, Raheem, saying Tom, Dick, and Harry.
You like that, did you, Raheem?
Here we go. You've got PC guy saying he's a firm believer in helping vulnerable people out. However, you do get people who want everything for nothing. I keep my prices higher to keep away the time wasters. To be honest, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to say every business is different. You've all got to make a profit, otherwise you might as well just close up and go and work for PC World, and that'll be an interesting one. There we go.
No comment.
Yeah. So he sets his prices on knowledge and time. So yeah,
Yep.
knowledge and time definitely, but you need to know your outgoing costs because you could be charging less than you're actually costing you to stay open. So
I think he's basically giving a nod to know your worth kind of thing.
Exactly. So we've also got William saying, yeah, per month, per week, per year. Obviously, as we've just shown in that form, knowing per job or even per day is a good thing. When I say per day, that's how many days you work. And we've got, I think we all still have to make money, especially if owning shop premises. Yeah, having a shop is definitely very expensive. William was going on about how much it costs them a year for electric.
Yeah.
We pay that a month.
Yeah.
So
when we moved into
unfortunately,
this building here, we had been used to a lower electric bill, you might say, something reasonable. And then we moved in, and it was November, and it was freezing in here. I mean, this is a cold building. I turned on the heater, and I got the bill, and I almost fainted. I said, Phil, you got to come in here. Phil. Well, he thought the place was on fire or something. He comes running to me. What's going on? And I hand him the bill. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. And he says, something's wrong here. Something's wrong. And we go to calling people up and everything. And no, it's right, unfortunately.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be sort of that sort of price, but it was a little bit more than I was expecting. But obviously, new premises, you just don't know how much power you're going to use and so forth. The biggest issue we had is we started negotiations for the building in, I think it was June, July, when prices were starting to go up, but okay. But by the time the contract went through and everything, it was November when the prices were at the highest, and we had to sign up for a 12-month contract. What was it? £1.15 a kilowatt.
And to sum it up, I couldn't run the heater this year. I had to get me an electric blanket and sit under it and just cover head to toe.
Yeah. We've already signed for our next year, starting from November, and it's like 5 times less.
I look like Cartman. Is that him that has the hoodie? No, it's Kenny. Kenny from South Park. I look like Kenny with that electric blanket over me this winter. Just like, oh.
Well, just to help you put that in some sort of perspective, when I was looking at the accounts last week, our year to date for electric, 11 months worth of electric, at 16 pence a kilowatt hour, cost us £17,500 for that 11 months. So obviously we have to be in a position to make money.
Yeah.
But this is why we've broke it down to an hourly basis, because if we also do that in conjunction with a footfall sheet, so we keep a record of who walks through the door between 1 hours, what they've come in for, do they buy, advice, browse, and if it's non-productive time, so we worked out that between 9 and 10, we don't need to open because nobody walks through that door. So we can shave costs at that point.
Yeah.
We've managed to do that. We've killed some of our late nights. We don't know until 10 o'clock in the morning, just in an effort to keep all of these costs down so that we don't have to put prices up.
Yeah. That's what the public don't see. Yeah. Why you're opening at 10 and things like that. Yeah, it's just true what you say. But that's what the public don't understand or don't see it. When they turn up at 9 o'clock in the morning and say, oh, you're closed. Well, here's why, because you're the only one that's turned up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I used to have the school moms. I'll drop it off on the way to drop off little Johnny at 8 o'clock. I said, no, you won't, because I won't be here. I said, now come back around 10 and you'll find me. Oh, why do you open so late? You must get a nice lie-in. No, I'm in here getting everything done so I can actually get the place ready to open up. But they don't realize that you have things you have to do before you open that door.
Yeah.
So.
That's it. Let's quickly go over to the chat. So we've got Sanjay saying good evening. There we go. We've also got PC Guy saying if parts are cheaper than expected, then that price still stays the same.
Absolutely.
So obviously, everyone for their own on that one. So it just depends on obviously your business model. If you get things cheaper, some people charge less, some people just keep it the same. So
if you've already quoted, though,
if you already quoted, then you could take it as a win. There you go. He says, "Can I swap to £500 a quarter just for a lecky?" So
that's when I said about the £600 per year.
Yeah, that's definitely a cost. So let's have a look. For me, it costs approximately £110 per day to keep my place running. There you go. So nice one, PC guys. So it's not far off what the numbers I've got on that spreadsheet at the moment. I've got £109.85. So, but again, everyone's different. So, but yeah, good that you know that number because you know how much work you need to be getting into to cover your costs. And then don't forget, as I said, you've got to then cover your costs for home as well. If you've got separate premises for home and for your business, obviously that will probably be so much a day as well. So we've got PC Guy again saying that's because of energy prices, etc. So yeah. So Poppy's saying, let's have a look. Any chance of sharing a copy? Yeah, I'll be sharing that after. I'll figure out a way of easily doing it. Probably be a OneDrive link or something like that.
Before I got into the business side of things with Phil, He used to drive me nuts knowing all this stuff, that he could reel these numbers off the top of his head, blah, 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 and we got to make this. And I just want to just haul off and just hit him and just shut him up, But realizing now that this is business,
Yeah.
you have to know these things. You have to know it, or you're going to sink.
Yeah.
You are going to, he's very clever, as Phil. I've got to give him that. He knows his stuff,
I
and
think
he's
I think it's not always knowing the stuff; it's knowing the basics and making sure you keep up with the basics and don't let them lapse. So we all know what our expenditures are. It's just we don't always put them down on one sheet of paper and see them all together. We all know, oh, electric's going to be this much every month, your Netflix account's going to be this much, and blah blah blah. But then when you actually think about it and add them all together, and suddenly, oh my God, that's a lot of money.
I tease him that he's my very own Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, but Sheldon always is writing on his board different formulas and working out different things. That's what Phil does. He's always working out different things. How much do I need to make, and so forth, and that's a good thing.
I was
That's a
looking to
good
see if I
thing.
got a flag behind me for fun with flags, but watching
I know,
Big
we
Bang
need our
I'm
color.
watching that just now, Big Bang Theory. I've started watching it. It's really good. I like it.
So there we go. Right, so we got a comment from Graham. This is a bit like an essay, and we've got another one from William, which is twice as long. So let me get the gist of this.
Just
So
summarize.
he says, many years ago, I went to a Target Open Day back when they used to do the Shop Talk web shops. I'm guessing that was John Coulter then.
Yep.
The speaker asked us, are you cheaper or more expensive than PC World? Yeah, I've said this one quite a few times as well. When most people answer cheaper, then follows up the question is, so you're not as good as PC World, and then obviously, but basic gist to it is if you're cheaper than PC World and you're better than PC World is you
Why
should
are
actually
you
be
charging?
Why are
Yeah.
you charging less? You should be charging more if you're better in the basics to it. So yeah, don't undervalue yourself, as it says there.
Yeah.
Will totally agree. John Coulter would have said that too. Yeah, I must admit he was a brilliant guy. He now works at the nuclear industry, if
I used to
remember
call him
right.
Alex
So
Polizzi, the hotel inspector,
yes.
because he would come in your shop just like Alex, and you're thinking, oh, I've got all my I's dotted, my T's crossed. He won't find a thing. And he'd go, that needs to go, that needs to go, that needs to go, this needs to be done, this. And by the time he left, you were in tears.
Yeah.
So he ripped me a good one. Oh. But it was a learning curve. I thought I had everything. We had just opened up our store. And I thought, you just fresh paint, fresh everything. He can't find anything in here. And he came in there and he's like, you need slap walling because that's got to go. And in hindsight, those USB pens on nails did not look good. So,
Yeah. When we first opened our store, it wasn't really going to be a store. It was more of a workshop where people would bring the stuff, and it was just basically an open front. And then a few people said, "Oh, you got memory sticks?" So we thought, "Oh, there's some nails on there. We'll just stick them on the nails."
And we were on a
so
limited
hang 'em on
budget
there.
as well, so
Yeah.
we had afforded some paint and a new door for the place because the old one had panes that were falling out, and
So yeah, when we actually started the store, well, even the business as a whole, it was from a position where we were in debt basically. So we
Yeah.
never had a silver spoon to start us off or anything like that.
we didn't even
It was
have a spoon.
basically
Period.
we built up from minus nothing to build it up from there, and it took years. And we don't get me
It
wrong, we had
did.
financial issues and so forth, but after I think it was about 3 or 4 years, everything started to click in, and suddenly things started rolling, and then got debt free and blah blah blah. The rest is
The
history.
first time when we got debt free, I was scared to spend anything because I was so used to living, you might say, poverty stricken, that I was afraid that if I spent that, some bill was going to come out of nowhere and need the money. I had to train myself it was okay to spend £5. It was okay to do this, that, and the
That's
other.
it.
So it was really, it was liberating to be able to have £5 in my pocket to spend, but I had to train my brain to not be so scared to spend my money.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
it's been a roller
It's been a
coaster.
roller coaster. I always tell you when we got married, it's going to be an interesting life. And,
You didn't
I've
lie.
I definitely made it interesting. But there we go. So yes, you can work from nothing and get something out of nothing. In the end, it just requires not just hard work but smart work, which is a common thing people say, but I do actually agree
And
with it.
they will tell you that you can't be married and work together. Well, you can. It takes a special relationship, and it takes a man that's afraid of you to get it right.
Yeah, lots of
So
blood and a lot of bruised shins. Shame for the shins so no one can see it.
it
So,
takes a man that's very submissive to get it right.
I don't know.
Happy wife is a happy life.
That's it.
That's it.
He told me one time, he says, "Do you think that I set out to make you mad every day? Really?" He says, "When you're mad, my life is hell." So,
So
I
what's the point of me making you mad?
Exactly.
So there we go. So William did also make a post. I'm not going to read it all out, William. If anyone wants to read it, just look in the chat.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like an essay. It'll probably take me the rest of the night to read that one out. But definitely thanks for the feedback there, William. So Sanjay's saying, let's have a quick look. I see a lot of retail stores on my journeys, and merchandising is key. And the flow of the store is massively important. Yeah, it's something we probably have to do one of the days is just the layout of your stores. A lot of people just you have
Just
the four
throw it.
walls, stick it around, just throw this here, there, and there. You go in a supermarket, there's a reason why they've got stuff laid out like it is. There's a certain reason why the signage is at certain heights. The most sold products are at certain heights and so forth. We always made it so in our store that people were forced to go a certain way. And no matter which way they went, if they did go the other way, the main bits we want to sell were viewable at any angle.
And there's also a reason that you can't find what you need every week at Sainsbury's, that it's been moved around, because you get used to shopping in a certain pattern when you go in the store. I've noticed myself the way I go in, like say Sainsbury's. I'll go down this specific aisle and loop around and go this way, then I'll come back this way if I need to. Now, I'm pretty sure that these people have been watching me, because they moved everything I was familiar with to the places that I was not walking.
Yeah.
And I came in one day and I was like, "Where's the hairspray? I can't find my hairspray." And I had Phil in the truck waiting with the truck running, and we was in a hurry, of course. And I'm having to ask people where the can of hairspray is and look forever and a day, and finally found it. I was like, God almighty, just leave things alone. But I understand that they wanted me to pass the other things that they had that I hadn't been passing.
Yeah, it's basically they want you to see stuff you haven't seen before. It's the same with signage and so forth. Always change your signage outside your store, at the front of your store. If you've got A-boards, you've got the same thing, people are going to just walk past it after
Keep
seeing
it
it a
fresh.
couple of times. Keep it fresh, change it up. And again, with any sort of marketing or whatever, and you can see a lot of the big guys do this, is don't make it all sale, make it sometimes just advice or whatever. Make it so people remember you. Someone's not wanting their mobile phone fixed every single day of the week. They're not wanting a new computer every week. Mix it up. Even if you only have 10 signs and you just will do one week and then change it next week and then repeat in another few months, have something more generic maybe, which you could use Christmases and Easters and whatever, or just say this holidays or whatever if you're really on a budget or whatnot. But yeah, mixing things up definitely does help.
And speaking of signage, it never hurts when you paint your building to go for another color scheme. We first started ours out white with a red trim to match Phil's logo of red, white, and blue, which, that sounds really nice. I got kind of sick of looking at it. And I said, right, what if we keep the white building and we put a nice blue stripe? It's more eye friendly. It still has the blue in the logo, so you're matching that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Phil says, well, I think I'll rework the logo. It kept the principle of the logo, which was a reverse Pac-Man, and he put it as silver inside a triangle, which was silver, much like the Tech for Text logo is sort of metallic and everything. Well, he put it in that, and then we did the shop front in a blue stripe, like O2 blue is what I call it. And then we put the logo on there, and people started taking note. They said, I didn't know you were here. I didn't know you're here. I was walking past. I didn't know you're here. Well, I know this lady walks past my store every day on the school run. So just that lick of paint, the change of paint brought her in.
That's it. So sometimes just changing things up can make a big difference. I know it's not really to do with pricing, but it is a big thing. Right, so we're getting we're pretty much at the end of the show. Let's just quickly go over to Ken and Will, see if there's anything they would like to add in. So Ken,
Yeah.
is there anything you'd like to add
I think there's two things I would probably mention. First one, make sure you've got a really good accountant. Whatever they charge you, they should at least save you in tax, and make sure you're up to date on all of the tax rules, because there's a lot of tax breaks out there which you might not know about. The accountant should be able to tell you. I mean, the super tax one's finished now, but that was a big one last year. And the other thing is, if you're not doing so well, don't be frightened to ask for help. Go ask accountants, claim universal credit if you need to get over a rough patch. I mean, you're allowed to work, self-employed, you just report your earnings and things. But you've got to survive, so, ask for help whenever you...
Oh, we've lost Ken.
Oh, you disappeared there, Ken. I don't know what happened there, but
I'm back.
I think we got the gist of it at the end. But basically,
that's some good advice.
Ask for help when you need to. But that's definitely good advice there. So, yeah. What about yourself, Will? Have you got anything you'd like to add on?
Reiterate exactly what Ken was saying. I mean, I recently got myself a bookkeeper, and I'm finding that although things are going well with the business, which is great, I'm paying more tax, but they're saving me on other things that I didn't know I can claim on. Whether it be anything from mileage to working from home, because I've got two jobs and one's PAYE and the other one's self-employed, so they're saving me some earnings there. And the dreaded student loan, I'm still paying for that one as well. And secondly, I think we said on the last price show that we done last year or year before, Phil, that I pinched your thunder. Put your prices up to £5 and see if that makes a difference.
Yeah.
If the customer would even blink an eyelid. I've done that recently as well. And another good tip that someone had said was that don't round it up to, like, say, £100 for your price and do it at 95, because most people will give you the £5 tips and things like that as well. So yeah, it's just little things like that that can help.
Okay, definitely.
I hired an accountant when we started Tech for Text, and the reason was I'm familiar with American tax laws, but not over here. And I didn't want to make any kind of financial hiccups. And I had been taking my taxes to this well-known accountant in town, and they'd been doing so well, on my yearly taxes. I thought, well, you know what? Wouldn't it make sense if they just kept up with things for me throughout the year and I don't have this headache? So now every Friday, I'll sum up our expenses and everything, put it through a software system, and send it to them to do with whatever they want to. And that's it. Every Friday, I just put in what our expenses are. And you'd be surprised if you keep on top of it every week. If you're going to be out of town on Friday, then we'll do it on Thursday. But yeah, I had been doing it like yearly, and that had me like crying rivers. So do it every week and stay on top of it, and use yourself a really good accountant.
Yeah,
I find a good sense, a good feel of relief having a bookkeeper now. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
definitely
is. It's
yeah.
a lot of weight off my shoulders.
You've got less chance that the VAT man or tax man's going to chase after you, and if they do, you've got an accountant you can point them out for a start. So, and obviously they've told you yes, no, and so forth if you can do these things. So you
And
know,
make sure the accountant will go to bat for you should an audit occur.
yeah.
Ours will.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also things like you'd be surprised where they can save you money. So, if you're wanting, let's just say you want to get a finance on a new car or van or whatever it is like that, they probably have connections where you can get it cheaper. And the same
Yeah.
with a lot of stuff because they deal with a lot of things. You just ask them and say, "Hey, do you know anyone?" And they'll say, "Oh yeah, we've got a guy we deal with, and save you so much. Might only be 1 or 2% on your monthly repayments or whatever, but it still all adds up. So, but before you know it, you're saving more money than you're actually paying them. And for us, for the tech for tech side of things, the things what we've been told we can go through and stuff, it's what we're paying them is. I probably won't say how much exactly online, just in case they're watching. But we basically made a lot of money by having them. So
Yeah, and they earn their keep just by answering my questions as many times as they have.
And they do a yearly review with us, so we pop around once every year just to go over everything, show what our plans are and so forth, and then they give us advice and say, "Oh, have you thought about doing this?" And we're like, "No, didn't even know we could do that," or
it never
whatever it
seems
is.
like that we are intrusive or too much trouble for them when they answer the phone. They're always courteous and everything. Oh, it's no problem whatsoever. You know, even though you just know that they're sitting there pulling their hair out. Oh my God, it's the woman from Tech for Tax again. You know, they never let it show. And they're a very professional group.
I think since the last lot of questions, we've calmed down a little bit now.
Yeah.
We know a lot of the stuff because when you suddenly go limited, VAT registered, and all this, that, and the other from being a sole trader, it's sort of a little bit different. So
yeah. But once I got everything, put out in front of me with instructions on actually how to work some of the software. Yes, I do tech stuff, but I had to have a course in training on this software that he put in front of me.
Yeah.
As I said at the start, it's all a learning curve.
It is, and
you never stop learning. And if you do stop learning, that's basically not good.
Time to retire.
But yeah.
They're a fine group of people. I got to say that.
Right, guys. If we haven't replied to you or mentioned sorry, it's the end of the show. Obviously, I'll read through the chat afterwards. I will post that chart, what I put on, or a spreadsheet, or a spreadsheet, won't it?
Yeah.
Excel sheet in the chat. I'll probably OneDrive it or something along that. Or if you just message me or email me, you've got details on the screen. Or you will do in a second, and you can let us know. So, and that way, go from there. Also, again, if you haven't got tickets for Tech Max already, please get them now. Don't leave it till 2 weeks before the event and suddenly say, "Can I have some evening tickets?" Because the answer will be no, because they go very fast for the evening. Daytime tickets, we've got lots of room for that. But evening tickets, there's only so many tables and chairs you can fit in a room. So we are limited with space on that one. So, and again, we are halfway sold out on that. So anyway, so we're going to call it night there. So I'd like to say thank you for everyone for watching, especially for Ken and Will for joining us, and probably William as well in chat, because I think he's taken half the chat tonight with all his comments, which have all been good comments in all honesty. So you'll have to come on the show, William, and we'll have to find a topic for you. And Poppy and Graham need to come on a show as well.
Yeah.
Hint, Poppy, Graham. So I'm going to say they're award winners. They should be showing off why they're award winners and come on the show. Okay.
And a big shout out to the canny clever dog, Prince. He's laying there by his dad. He likes to come on the show with his dad. He's a beautiful
no one at the minute.
Nice one. Right, guys, we'll leave you to it. But again, thank you for everyone watching. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Will.
And
before we go, we've just got to do one simple thing, and that is...
Are you looking for gear that delivers style, reliability and value? Then you're going to love what Aerocool has to offer. We are more than just a brand. We are a community of people who share a passion for PC gaming and hardware. Our diverse product portfolio is a reflection of our enthusiasm. We have been delivering dependable PC hardware and more in the market for over 20 years. Our customers trust and support us because of our great value products that don't compromise on quality or aesthetics. But don't just take our word for it. Come and see for yourself at our booth and check out our latest products. You will be blown away by what Aerocool has to offer.